You know that old phrase, a lie can make it halfway around the world before the truth can even get its shoes on? That's something that I think that Valve took very seriously today when they responded to a rumor that was, well, I don't necessarily want to call it a rumor. A leak is what I'll call it. A leak from videocards.com, videocards with a Z.com. Just so you know, way cooler than videocards with an S.com because it's got a Z, and Z's are like all pointy and S's are all curvy. So it's got to be cooler. But anyway, that's beside the point. Videocards.com posted a slide from a presentation that is about to be being shown at CES. And for those of you that don't know what CES is, that is the Consumer Electronics Show for a really long time. It's something that predates E3, and actually it's where a lot of huge moments in the video game industry has taken place at CES. But then E3 came into being, and a lot of the video game stuff kind of moved over to there. And there was still some gaming stuff at CES, but it dwindled down a bit. But now that E3 is dead, essentially, I'm wondering if maybe some more video game stuff is going to come back to CES. And we know that, actually, by the time you watch this, you'll already know what happened tomorrow at CES, because tomorrow on the 7th, Valve is going to be on stage with AMD and Lenovo and Microsoft to talk about the future of handheld gaming. I have a video where I break down that thing, and I will leave a link in the description down below so that you can check it out, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about the leak of something that is going to be shown at CES from all about the AMD Ryzen Z2. And one of the slides from their presentation was leaked. And on that slide, it showed a few different things. I'm just going to bring this up for me here. It says AMD Ryzen Z2 series processors. AMD continues to meet the explosive growth and demand in the handheld gaming segment. And then they show on there significant and growing TAM, more OEMs adding designs into the market, battery life, software, and performance leadership. And then they show the Lenovo Legion Go, the Asus ROG Ally, and Valve's Steam Deck. And a lot of people looked at that and they said, hold on a sec. Does that mean that we're going to be getting a Z2 chip inside the next Steam Deck? And the rumors obviously started to percolate, I don't know if that's the right word, like coffee does, but they started to percolate out there. And Pierre-Luc Graffet said, hold on a second, we cannot have this rumor get away from us, because if it does, it could cause a lot of damage, especially because this is not something that we plan on doing. And so he put out a tweet, and I'm going to talk later on in the video about whether or not this tweet was a good idea. I think it was a good idea, but there are reasons that you don't want to do something like this. But let's take a look at his tweet. He said, there is and will be no Z2 Steam Deck. Guessing the slide was meant to say that the series is meant for products like that, not announcing anything specific. So basically, people saw this slide and they said, okay, we're going to get a Z2 Steam Deck. Now, for those of you who don't watch my channel regularly, you might be a little bit out of the loop on what exactly do we mean by Z2. Well, let's rewind and we'll start with the launch of the Steam Deck. Up until the Steam Deck launched, handhelds were very expensive. PC handhelds were incredibly expensive. Steam Deck launched, and because they have the Steam store, they were able to undercut everyone else. Concurrently, Asus, I believe, was working on the ROG Ally. And when they shipped the ROG Ally, there's a couple of things. Number one, they don't have the benefit of the Steam store, which makes their system a little bit more expensive because they can't make up money on sales, but that's not really what this video is about. The second thing was that it had the Z1 Extreme chipset. So let's talk about these chips first off. What chip is in the Steam Deck? It has a custom chip, also made by AMD, called the Van Gogh chipset. And the reason everybody loves the Steam Deck so much, or the reason I love the Steam Deck so much, is because the Van Gogh chipset is incredibly energy efficient. You can run AAA games, usually at low resolutions and low frame rates, and it'll handle it, and you can play those games pretty well. There's obviously going to be some exceptions, but the great thing about that chip is how little power it uses, especially when you're not playing those AAA games. When you are playing what a majority of the games that are on Steam are these smaller indie games that don't require nearly as much horsepower, that chip can go all the way down to like 4 watts TDP. And so drawing that little power means that you can game for a long time. And that's something that most other manufacturers have really, really struggled with. The original ROG Ally struggled with that big time. The Lenovo Legion Go also struggled with that, and that's because they didn't have chips that were as efficient as the Van Gogh processor. They had the Z1 Extreme chip, which is essentially, I don't want to say the word custom, but it's a version of AMD's 7840U processor with a couple of the AI cores turned off, and that's the Z1 Extreme chipset. So now we're talking about the Z2 chipset, which is rumored to go, I mean, the leaks from videocards.com tell us that we're going to be seeing this chipset in the Lenovo Legion Go S. And now it seems like we're also going to be seeing it in other hardware. And this slideshow made it seem like it was going to be found in the Lenovo Legion Go, the ROG Ally, and the Steam Deck. But that's really not what was happening here. So Pierre Le Graffet said, hold on, we're not using that chipset. They have said many times that they don't expect to put out another Steam Deck until there is a generational leap in performance. And the Z2 chipset is not a generational leap in performance. It is a leap in performance, and these devices might perform better than the Steam Deck. And I mean, honestly, if you look at the Z1 chipset, like those perform better than the Steam Deck as well at higher TDPs. At lower TDPs, the Steam Deck just trounces everything, and that's one of the reasons I like it so much. Those are the games I tend to play the most. So they had to squash that rumor. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned, there's a reason you don't want to squash rumors like this. Why wouldn't you want to tell everyone, hey, that's not true, we're not doing that? Here's the reason why. If you deny this rumor, well, let's just say rumor A. If you deny rumor A, but then you don't deny rumor B, then people will start to just assume that rumor B is accurate. And that makes it harder for you to keep things locked down. Like right now, we have tons of leaks coming out of Valve. Stuff about Half-Life 2. We've got leaks about, Fremont. And if you don't know what Fremont is, there's a link down below, but essentially it's a rumored set-top box from Valve, a Steam console, essentially. We've got leaks about their upcoming headset, aka Deckard. We have leaks about their Ibex controller. Again, links down below for all of this stuff. But for Plagman, Pierre Le Graffet, to shut down this rumor so fast makes me feel like all the other rumors are now almost confirmed. If they had said nothing and then did their regular thing tomorrow with no mention of a Z2 Steam Deck, we would have had the same exact, I don't want to say reaction. We would have looked at the landscape and would have said, oh, that's what that slide was for. I understand now. And we would have found out less than 24 hours later. So I think that this was a misstep from Valve, but I do understand why they did it. I just wonder what you all think. Do you think it was a misstep? Let me know in the comment section down below. But that's going to do it for today's news. I will say that we will probably talk about this stuff on the next episode of the Nerd Nest podcast, which we typically record on Fridays, and then the episode comes out on Sunday after I get a chance to sit down and edit it for a few hours. If you've never watched the show, we've got like 84, 85 episodes at this point, and it's been downloaded, watched, and listened to millions of times. So it would be awesome if you would check it out. And I'm just super happy that each week I get to sit down and talk to my friends about video game bullshit, and you guys watch. So if you haven't seen it, in the pinned comment down below, I will leave a link so that you can check out the podcast. And thanks for watching. From the Nerd Nest, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching and stay rad. Bye-bye.